thanks to everyone for joining us. My name is Dr. Helena McMahon. I'm based in the Kerry campus of Munster Technological University, and we're running the Certificate in Circular Economy, which is a Level 8 programme. And over the course of the next half an hour, we're going to tell you a little bit about the background to the programme, what the programme content will entail, the delivery of the programme, and how you can apply for the programme. And we'll talk a little bit as well around the funding of the programme and how much it actually costs to participate in this programme as well. So I'm joined today by my colleague, Dr. Adol Newsom, who is the lead lecturer on this programme, and Adol will have a few things to say to you in a while. And I'm also joined by Jessica Dennison, who works with us here in the team in MTU around student recruitment and dissemination and communication as well. So we're the 3 team members. And I think we're joined as well by some of our colleagues in lifelong learning. So I can see Denise and Mary Stritch are also here as well. And they are the team that deal with all the applications for this programme. So you have the full team here with you today. So as I said, this is the Certificate in Circular Economy. So it's a Level 8 programme. Which is an honours degree level programme, and this programme is funded by Springboard, and it's also part of Ireland's Knowledge Centre for Carbon, Climate and Community Action. So this is a large-scale project that's funded by the Higher Education Authority, and the whole purpose of this project is to provide people in industry with sustainability skills. We've got quite a large number of different types of programs, and the Circular Economy program that we're talking about today is one of our flagship programs. It's actually been running now for 3 years. I think this is our 4th intake add-on into this program, and we've had lots of fantastic success stories, I suppose, from the program about how people have been in industry and how they've applied circular economy skills either within their roles, or they've gone on actually to get to uptake new roles based on the skills that they've got within this program. So this program is quite agile. So it's a short program really. So it's delivered online in a part-time basis. So it rolls out 1 evening a week. And this particular intake of the program will run from January 21st, 2025. So next January until June. Okay, and it's just 1 evening a week. And it typically runs from 7 o'clock until about 9 or 9:30, and it's just 1 evening a week, so it's quite light and I suppose flexible really for you to engage with if you're working at the moment, which I'm sure a lot of you are. So within this, what we do really is we give all of the students an introduction to circular economy. So lots of people who have participated in this program will never have had any formal education in the whole area of the circular economy. So what we like to do is to introduce you to the theories and frameworks of the circular economy. So what actually is it? And we spend a lot of time looking on the 9 R's and the kind of the history and the evolution of the circular economy. And then we go into things like business models, material flows, supply chains of the circular economy. And then we have a second module which is very much focused on problem solving and communication in the circular economy as well. So it's quite dynamic. The way the lectures are typically set up is that we deliver some theory and content, academic content in the first half of the class, and then the second half of the class we invite in really amazing industry experts, and Adon has a fantastic network that he draws on to bring in real life case studies from industry of the application of circular economy. Now, what's fantastic about this program is that it's 90% funded by the HEA through their Springboard initiative. So it means that it just costs you 10% of the program fees to participate in this for eligible applicants. And there are some application criteria. They're quite light, so most people do meet the eligibility criteria. So obviously you have to be eligible for a level 8 program and resident in Ireland, and people who are in work and not working are eligible for the support. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pass you over to Adon, who's going to talk to you a little bit around circular economy and the 2 modules that are rolled out in this particular program. And there'll be plenty of time for questions and answers as well at the end of this. So Adon, I'll pass over to you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Helena. And welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, I'll just talk for maybe 10 minutes or so to give you a background to the circular economy. And then we'll leave some time for questions at the end. Okay, so to quickly introduce myself, I've completed my PhD on the circular economy, and I'm the lead lecturer on this course in relation to circular economy, and I conduct research around circular economy as well. So I'd I'd like to ask you, what does the circular economy mean to you or to your business or to your organization? Feel free to put it in the chat. It'd be interesting to know where people are coming from. And in previous courses of this program, we have people from various different sectors, from the food industry to the medical sector, supply chain roles, for example. So people are working in various different organizations, and that really supports the peer-to-peer learning. You can see the diagram here from Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which we'll draw on quite a lot during the course, is in relation to the butterfly diagram. So these various approaches to circular economy. And throughout the course, we'll have time to go into each of these strategies in more detail. For example, repairing and reusing and remanufacturing in a circular economy. So as you can see from the definition, or the Kurt Sheal's work, there's 221 definitions of a circular economy, so it's still very much up for debate. So it is a really interesting time to study this topic of the circular economy, as it's constantly evolving. So do put in any questions in the chat also, and feel free to share your understandings of the circular economy from your own organization. Okay, yeah, so Helena touched on briefly the overview of the program. So it's 2 10-credit modules. So firstly, we're looking at the circular economy framework, which gives the basis for the course, some key theory, and applying it again to practical case studies. And then the second half of the course is in relation to Innovate Circular. So that's looking at coming up with various design thinking and innovation approaches to developing circular economy solutions. And again, it's Tuesday evenings, 7 to 9 o'clock, starting in January. So drawing down the first circular economy framework module, again, this is focusing on the theory, frameworks, and practices of a circular economy. So over the past decade, there has been various research on this topic, various frameworks, all on the back of EU regulations and EU policies, such as the Green Deal, which has come out over the past decade or so in relation to circular economy developments. So we'll look at these, and we'll interrogate business case for the circular economy, various business model approaches in relation to the circular economy, and taking that value chain and life cycle approach to circular economy developments. We'll look at circular economy in practice, as Helena mentioned, with some case studies and guest speakers, and we'll take this problem-based learning approach. So it's not just about looking at the theory, but it's about using that theory and applying it to practice to try and tackle some of the challenges we might face in industry or in organizations such as NGOs and community groups as well. So we try to take that holistic perspective. The assessments are quite practical as well, with discussion boards, which allows for peer-to-peer learning. There's practical case study circular economy reports. Again, this might be with an organization you work with or you're familiar with, so that might be helpful for you to test and iterate some ideas which you may have in relation to the circular economy and gain some feedback as well. And the potential to propose circular economy systems, products and services, and applying it to a solution will be another assignment. And there's no exams to mention as well. Then Innovate Circular, so the second half of the module is looking at this sort of systems approach, systems dynamic and systems innovation approach to circular economy, looking at policy and regulatory environments and the funding needed for a circular economy as well. So taking that more broader, holistic perspective in relation to a circular economy. We also focus on circular economy communications with an external expert who focuses on the communicating your circular economy strategy. And again, taking this wider, holistic, social, environmental, and economic perspective on the topic. And again, there's some similar assignments there, and also group presentations, again, allowing for that peer-to-peer learning, and also to share ideas with people in different organizations, which is key in a circular economy, that collaboration approach. Okay, yeah, so ourselves at MTU and our work at IKC3, we are a national leader in circular economy innovation, in education and in industry engagement. And to mention, we did engage with industry when developing this course. So there is a lot of practical input on what would be helpful for businesses. Helena, if you'd like to mention anything else in relation to any of these organizations or into the overview of how the course was developed.
Yeah, so basically, I suppose at MTU, through the Circular Bioeconomy Research Group, which I co-lead, and then through the Circular Bioeconomy Cluster, which has 60 industry members, we had a lot of conversations with companies, and they really didn't understand how to get going on their journey with circularity. So a lot of people would consider initially that sustainability was just wastewater and energy, but it's become clear that it's a much more complex thing, and that you can deploy lots of different models around sustainability within your organization. So we had people, as Aidan said, in supply chain areas that were looking around reverse logistics and optimizing their supply chains. We had people who were looking for new packaging solutions and looking at end of life. So that people, lots of people were just saying, basically, we really need education in this area because we don't have any staff internally that can start looking at circularity within our organization. So we'd like to start upskilling our staff. So then what we did was we put together this particular program, and it's been hugely successful. So we've had people from the hotel industry participate in the program, from the pharmaceutical industry. We've had packaging experts that have come in. We've also had people who were consultants and were actually running their own businesses and wanted to start looking at the whole area of circularity as well. So it's very industry focused. And Aidan, you've had people on from Repack, you've had people on from Unilever, you've had lots of, I suppose, leading industry people come in and talk to the students about the different types of optimizations that they've done within their companies in the area of circularity that, you know, the students will benefit from as well.
Yeah, and thanks very much. And I'll explain a little bit more about the guest speakers as well. But yeah, thanks very much, Helena. Yeah, so these will be some of the topics that we will be studying. So looking at the climate change and biodiversity and the connection with circular economy, looking at various certificates, supply chain approaches, circular economy in towns, cities, and regions, looking at fashion, food, plastics, business models, and design thinking and communication. So you can see it is a lot of broad topics, but we'll start with the foundations of a circular economy and then move forward with a particular focus on each of these areas. And then, yeah, as Helena was mentioning, we've had various guest speakers in before from leading organizations such as Zero Waste Scotland, who are doing great work in relation to policy for circular economy, the OECD, Natural Capital Ireland, Tetra Pak, TerraCycle, various organizations, Accenture. So bringing that expert knowledge, obviously there's such diverse topics that expert knowledge on each of these areas is critical for us to gain that broader circular economy understanding. So just to mention about the workload, so as we mentioned, it's lectures online, it's problem-based learning, there's peer-to-peer discussion and international case studies, which I've also developed in relation to leading circular economy examples, and we can apply theory into practice there as well. The assignments are practical, they're industry focused, and there is no exams. So there's flexibility and there's live and recorded sessions. Obviously, we encourage you to join the live sessions for that peer-to-peer support, to ask questions in relation to the circular economy and to gain, I suppose, that knowledge from the expert speakers as well. But they will be recorded also for your own convenience. Helena touched on this as well. So we've had various organizations involved in the past, so students coming as consultants from the construction industry, from energy, from packaging, food and drink. So it really is a diverse group, and I think that's one of the key parts of this program, that you're not just learning from a lecturer or from guest speakers, but you're actually learning from one another as well and gaining some key insights from different industries, which is really helpful in a topic like the circular economy, which is evolving all the time. Yeah, this slide's just giving a bit of some feedback and some quotes from previous students who really enjoyed the course and found it practical, and both on a professional and a personal level, that they could apply some of this circular economy knowledge into practice straight away after completing the course. So that's great to see some practical impact in people's lives. And yeah, finally to mention as well that the projects and assessments, they are practical. So it's a chance for you to also come up with new ideas, improve processes, develop new products, develop new business models, improve infrastructure. So again, the assignments, they're not just theory based, they are embedded in theory and frameworks. You should be drawing on these, but it's very practically focused. So it might help improve a particular circular economy strategy in your business, in your SME, or in your community group, for example. So it's a chance to gain feedback on this, maybe before you want to take it further with your own organization. Yeah, circular economy, sustainability, and climate, I'm sure you're aware, is really rising on the agenda in terms of business and policy. So there's various different roles coming up over the past few years, and this is likely to continue into the future. So hopefully this course in circular economy will give you the skills to actually focus on one of these areas, maybe to help reflect on your own thinking about maybe where you'd like your career to go, maybe in terms of a sustainability manager, or it's an ESG advisor, or in terms of sustainable procurement in the supply chain sector, maybe it's climate action or life cycle assessment. So you'll be introduced to various topics which hopefully will help with your future career development and to gain a better perspective on what careers are out there as well. Yeah, so this slide is just giving you the application details, and I think Helena mentioned there's people on the call as well in relation to the specifics of applying, but these are some of the key details. And it's Springboard funded, as we mentioned. The deadline's November 15th. So if there's any questions in relation to the content or the course or the circular economy topic in general, please feel free to email myself, adon.newsholm@mtu.ie. And then if there's specific questions on the application process, we have some time now, but the applications on the Springboard process, part-time at kerry@mtu.ie is your best email address there. So again, to mention importantly, November 15th is the deadline, and we really encourage you to apply. We have some time for questions now, either practical or on the course itself. Feel free to jump in or just write in the chat. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Adon. So Adon, the day of the week for this particular program is going to be, is it Tuesday or Wednesday for this program?
Tuesday evenings, yeah. Tuesday evenings.
Yeah. Tuesday evenings from 7 to 9:30.
Yes.
Yeah. And just to mention as well, so the first module that you do is the theories and frameworks. So that's kind of introductions to the concepts and to really give you an understanding of what the circular economy is. And I really like the whole framework of the 9 R's, which is, goes refuse, rethink, reduce. Can you repair or reuse, repurpose, and remanufacture? And we go through examples of all of those and how they might be relevant to the business that you're, or the sector that you're operating in. And then we do lots of assignments and group work. We tend to use Miro boards quite a lot, which is a really nice online collaboration tool so you can work in groups. You get a lot of time actually to meet each other, which can be really great for growing your network and for knowledge sharing. And what we have found in past years is that people will share kind of good practices of things that they're doing within their company that can be potentially applied within another organization. And also with the kind of group projects that you do, you learn an awful lot from each other. So, I mean, that has been worked really, really well in the past. And then the second module that you do is called Innovate Circular. So what we do is, there's a big focus on communications, because look, there's loads of jargon that goes with circular economy. And when you're trying to make change within an organization, there's nothing worse than the eye rolling that you can get when you meet your colleagues and you start talking about circularity. So what we like to do is to focus kind of on communication skills and how you can articulate sustainability improvements in a way that's more relatable. So who we bring in actually is Jonathan McRae, and he does some fantastic workshops all around storytelling and communications with the students, and that's gone down really, really well over the past 3 years. And then once you're finished that communication piece, we put you into groups, and then you kind of work away in the background. So the second semester, which is in May and June, or the second part of the second module, is actually quite light in terms of contact, and you just tend to work in groups, and we're there to kind of support you as you're going through your projects. But it's much more in a mentorship kind of capacity, which is really nice. You get some one-to-one time with the academic team as well, which is great. So that's kind of the outline of the program. Does anybody have any specific questions or queries that we can help you with today?
We have a question there in kind of the Q&A. Someone has said, is the course more suited for people working in the manufacturing pharma industry? They work in insurance, and how relevant would it be to them?
Yeah, so it's a good question. How does circular economy relate to the service industry? So, I mean, typically when you look at supply chains, they generally tend to involve the movement of tangible products. But I think in the case of the insurance industry, it would be more focused on the sustainability of your company and how it operates. So how does your company look at biodiversity? How does your company align with climate change? How does your company look at its organization internally? And then also in terms of, I suppose, your product offering, how do you take into account things like EDI? How do you engage with your community? What are your community action type activities? And we do cover quite a lot of those topics. You'll have seen in the slide that Aidan put up that we do a lot around communities and towns and cities and urban environments. So I think there is a whole kind of social and sustainability piece that you would benefit from as part of the program. And we have had people from fintech companies involved as well before, Aidan.
Yeah, definitely. And I was going to add that finance and insurance in particular is very interesting and important for a circular economy, because as we move to maybe more leasing, there's going to be insurance implications there. So I'm sure it's going to take rise in the agenda as well in terms of insurance and finance for a circular economy. So yeah, you'll gain that sort of broader perspective on supply chains, but also be able to look at some of the research in relation to financing a circular economy as well, which I hope would be helpful. I think there was another question pop up there, was there?
Yeah, there's one that says, is there an in-person element to the course? If so, how often are the meetups, where and on what days? So you might want to touch on that. There's a couple of other questions then as well.
So this is fully online, isn't it, the program?
Yeah, we said we would run online to make it as accessible as possible for people across Ireland and internationally as well.
And then in terms of the end date of the program, so the final assignment that you have is a group-based project. So typically we like to give people until mid-June, but the second week of June is really the closing date to submit that. But there will be no teaching happening or classes happening after the end of May in the program.
And then there's another query as well. What supports are available for people who might fear they struggle with preparing, producing, completing the assignment work to the required academic standard?
So yeah, so I suppose the first thing is that we just make sure that all the students meet the eligibility criteria to come into the program. And then once students are in the program, we obviously work really, really closely with you. We like students ideally to make all of the submission deadlines just to keep the program moving along, but we do provide one-to-one supports to any students that may be having challenges around the particular type of content. So we do like to see everyone finish the program successfully.
And someone else has asked, are all resources provided, or is there a list of books, etc., that may be needed?
There's no requirement to purchase any materials for this particular program. So all of the resources that we recommend for the program are available online through the MTU library, and a lot of the resources that we recommend would be peer review publications. Again, they would all be open access publications, and then we like to refer to different types of podcasts and different materials as well, and they are all free to use. So there is no financial, I suppose, requirement for additional materials for the learning for this program.
And then there's another query here. Does this course and other part-time Springboard courses see recent graduates registering?
Mary, are you still on the call, or Denise?
Yeah, hi, I'm Mary, still here. Sorry, can you repeat the question, Jessica?
Does this course and other part-time Springboard courses see recent graduates registering? So I would imagine that would probably be, is it kind of recent kind of undergraduates, or recent graduates from undergraduate courses, maybe kind of like the age profile of people who are applying for the course?
We would have recent graduates registering on the program. Now there is a new rule that this year that you have to be out a year before. If you're like a recent graduate from 2024, you wouldn't be eligible. You'd have to be at least from 2023. Okay.
Thanks, Mary. I think that's it. Okay. If anyone else has anything before we finish up.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for the time. Yeah, thanks, Jess. Thanks, Aidan, Mary, Denise.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thanks to everyone for your time. We really appreciate it.